As the clock ticked past midnight, I found myself standing in front of the Hargrave house, a decrepit mansion that had been the stuff of paranormal legends. My heart raced in my chest, and a cold sweat trickled down my spine. I wasn't a seasoned paranormal investigator, just an ordinary person, but the allure of this place had drawn me in. Local stories spoke of ghostly apparitions and spine-chilling occurrences that had plagued this mansion for generations. I had brushed off their tales as mere superstitions until curiosity got the best of me, compelling me to venture inside. Armed with nothing more than my smartphone's flashlight and a voice recorder app, I bravely stepped over the threshold, each creak of the floorboards resonating like a haunting melody. The air inside was heavy with an eerie anticipation as I explored further. Shadows seemed to flicker at the corner of my vision, and faint whispers swirled in the air, carrying a sense of foreboding. Then I stumbled upon an old photograph hanging on the wall, depicting a family from a bygone era. Their eyes seemed to track my every move, their smiles contorting into malevolent grins as I passed by. My voice recorder buzzed with static, and a spine-chilling voice whispered, "Leave this place before it consumes your soul." Fear gnawed at me, but curiosity was a relentless force. I pressed on, the walls of the mansion seeming to close in around me. In a dimly lit room, I encountered an ornate mirror covered in layers of dust and cobwebs. My reflection in it appeared distorted, my features twisted into grotesque shapes. I blinked, and the room around me transformed. I was no longer alone. Shadows took on tangible forms, and ghostly figures reached out to me, their hollow eyes beseeching release from their eternal torment. I staggered back, tripping over an old chair and crashing to the floor. The room spun, and a malevolent presence closed in on me. The voice recorder crackled to life once more, and this time the sinister whisper was unmistakable. "You should have heeded the warning." Panic surged through me as I struggled to escape the room. The very architecture of the mansion seemed to warp and shift, trapping me in a nightmarish labyrinth. The anguished cries of trapped souls surrounded me, their torment echoing in my ears. Time lost all meaning as I wandered through the mansion, my body battered and my mind scarred. Finally, I stumbled back to the entrance, but the Hargrave house loomed over me like a malevolent specter, its facade contorted and menacing. I stumbled out into the frigid night, shaken to my core. The Hargrave house had taken something from me, something irreplaceable. The horror of that night continues to haunt my dreams, a constant reminder of the darkness lurking beyond our comprehension. I, the unwitting victim, can only warn others to steer clear of the cursed mansion and its sinister secrets. Beneath a moonless, starless night, John stood before the sinister Hargrave house, a forsaken mansion shrouded in chilling tales of the paranormal. His heart raced, and a cold sweat traced his spine. He was no seasoned ghost hunter, just an ordinary soul, but the eerie legend surrounding this place had drawn him in like a moth to a flame. Local folklore whispered of ghostly apparitions and sinister phenomena that had tormented this mansion for generations. John had dismissed these stories as mere superstitions, but an insatiable curiosity had led him to cross the threshold. Armed with his smartphone's flickering flashlight and a voice recorder app, he embarked on this harrowing journey, every step echoing like a mournful dirge. Inside, the air hung heavy with an oppressive sense of dread. Shadows writhed at the edges of his vision, and faint, ghostly murmurs slithered through the silence, foretelling an unsettling destiny. It was then that he stumbled upon an aged photograph hanging on the wall, portraying a family from a long-forgotten era. Their eyes appeared to follow him, their smiles twisting into malevolent grins as he passed. His voice recorder crackled with static, and an icy voice whispered, "Leave this place before it feasts upon your soul." Fear clamped its icy grip on him, but his curiosity propelled him forward. He ventured deeper into the mansion, feeling the very walls close in around him. In a dimly lit room, He encountered an ornate mirror veiled in dust and cobwebs. His reflection seemed grotesque, his features warping into nightmarish contortions. He blinked, and the room metamorphosed. He was no longer alone. Shadows coalesced into tangible forms, and spectral figures reached out to him, their hollow eyes begging for release from their eternal torment. He stumbled back, tripping over a rotting chair and crashing to the floor. The room spun, and a malevolent presence closed in. The voice recorder erupted with activity once more, and this time, the sinister whisper was unmistakable. "You should have heeded the warning." Panic seized him as he fought to escape the room. The mansion itself seemed to conspire against him, its architecture shifting and distorting, ensnaring him in a nightmarish labyrinth. The anguished cries of tormented souls surrounded him, their torment echoing in his ears. Time lost all meaning as he wandered through the mansion, battered and scarred. Finally, he stumbled back to the entrance, but the Hargrave house loomed over him like a malevolent sentinel, its facade twisted and menacing. He staggered out into the frigid night, his body battered and his mind traumatized. The Hargrave house had taken something from John, something irreplaceable. The horrors of that night continued to haunt his dreams, a relentless reminder of the darkness lurking beyond our comprehension. He, the unwitting victim, could only issue a stark warning to others: steer clear of the accursed mansion and its enigmatic, malevolent secrets, unless they were prepared to face the terrifying consequences. In the heart of a desolate forest, John found himself standing before an abandoned asylum, a place that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. His heart pounded, and a chill ran down his spine. He wasn't a seasoned investigator, he was just an ordinary person, but the legends surrounding this asylum had compelled him to venture inside. Local tales spoke of the asylum's dark history, of deranged patients and unspeakable horrors that had occurred within its walls. John had scoffed at the stories until his curiosity got the better of him. Armed with a flashlight and a voice recorder, he stepped across the threshold, every step echoing like a ghostly whisper in the still night. The air inside the asylum was thick with a suffocating dread. Shadows flickered at the edges of his vision, and distant, eerie whispers seemed to beckon him further. As he explored the decaying hallways, he stumbled upon a room with faded patient files scattered across the floor. The names and histories of those who had suffered here were chilling. His voice recorder crackled to life with static, and a haunting voice whispered, "You should leave now before it's too late." Fear gripped John, but his curiosity urged him onward. He ventured deeper into the asylum, the walls closing in around him. In a dimly lit chamber, he discovered an old, rusted gurney with leather restraints still attached. It sent shivers down his spine, and as he approached, he heard a faint, agonized moan that seemed to come from nowhere. The voice recorder buzzed again, and the same chilling voice whispered, "This place hungers for your soul." Panic surged through him as he tried to leave the room, but the door slammed shut behind him. Desperation clawed at him as he struggled to escape. The asylum itself seemed to come alive, its dark history manifesting before his eyes. Apparitions of tormented souls materialized, reaching out to him with spectral hands. Hours, or perhaps an eternity, passed before John found himself back at the entrance. The asylum's facade seemed to leer at him, the forest beyond now draped in an otherworldly mist. He stumbled out into the cold, dark woods, his body battered and his mind scarred. The asylum had taken something from John, something that could never be reclaimed. The horrors of that night haunted his dreams, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks in forgotten places. He, the unwitting victim, could only warn others to stay far away from that accursed asylum and its malevolent secrets. To this day, he cannot shake the feeling that the asylum's malevolent presence still lingers in the depths of the forest, waiting for its next victim to draw near.